our reviews.
Yay.
Yeah. We're reviewing tonight Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, and Atlas. Let's start with this one.
Okay.
I don't have much to say about this one, although I don't know how this is the worst Jennifer Lopez movie this year. She made 2 movies herself, and this is the worst Jennifer Lopez movie this year. I'm going out of the gun. You want to know what this movie's about? Watch iRobot, Blade Runner, Terminator 2. Pretty much throw any sci-fi movie in the last 30
Pacific
years.
Rim.
Pacific Rim, Alien, everything. It's just like this movie is so hollow and so short on story and everything else. It's disturbingly bad. Edge of Tomorrow, another one they stole from, like every aspect. But like all of those movies have something in common. They have everything. Everything this movie stole from them wasn't a story. It was just pieces of their stories, and it doesn't understand it. And I'm sorry, but if in any description that they have to keep, first of all, they said it in the description in the movie, they say it in the trailer of the movie, all of the characters say it about her in the movie. I don't know if she's contractually obligated to make sure that she's called brilliant over and over again by everybody who works with her, because that's all they kept doing. We know you're brilliant. We know you're brilliant. We know you're brilliant. And she really isn't. She spends most of the time crying and like doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And the computer AI has to talk her down. Like it's so ridiculous. I believe that Denise Richards' character in that James Bond movie where she played a physicist was more believable than anything Jennifer Lopez did in this movie. Anything Jennifer Lopez. I don't even know if Jennifer Lopez was actually there.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm not saying she wasn't. I just don't know if she was.
Yep.
And with that being said, Paul, what did you think of this abysmal piece of crap?
Let me give you a different perspective of how great this movie. No. So we were coming off the con, so we were just looking for something to watch. It had just been released. We're like, why not? I like sci-fi. I typically enjoy her. Like you said, it was very hollow. I mean, the best part was, the only good part of this movie, in my opinion, is just the dialogue between her and the AI, just being sassy with each other. But past that, like you described very perfectly, it's just a mixture of all of your favorite sci-fi movies kind of merged into one, but they're not meant to be merged together. So you're just kind of like, okay. And then, there were too many questions for me plot wise. And I get plenty of movies I love have plot holes, but this one, it was like, you have an AI that took out a lot of humanity, like 3 million humans, and then went to some random planet and is hiding there. Well, if there are no humans there, why are we not just blowing up the planet? I'm not saying that any life deserves that, but if nothing's there and that's a problem, why is anyone going, let's get him and bring him back? And fuck that. Nuke the bitch. Problem solved.
Yeah, well, again, and just to point out to that, like it was some off the wall, not bullshit, non sequitur. They want him alive because they want a CPU, which was basically Terminator 2. The whole chip aspect of it, which doesn't even come into play. She just he reminds her at the end, no, remember they want me alive. And she kills him and was like, they just want your CPU.
Yeah. And then
so you couldn't do this the whole time. You couldn't tell them that. I can kill him and get a CPU. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
They didn't know that.
And I thought it was cheap that they kind of tried to go for like a philosophical end where they're like, AI has a soul. Like, how do you know as a human you have a soul? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Right? Like, why? Why? You're not that movie. Like, why? Whoever wrote that, I'm sorry, but I hate you just for that.
I wonder if this is why Ben Affleck wants to divorce her.
This movie is probably because he wants to divorce her. She probably was like, I just need a movie and I want to be called brilliant. I want to cheer up. And then
it's going to be the greatest movie that's ever been made. And like Ben Affleck's like, I'm a director. You know what? Ben Affleck needs some happiness in his life. I hope he goes back with Jennifer Garner. Like, and he should have never. He should no. In fact, she doesn't even deserve it. Like, she deserves better.
That's true.
Ben, stop fucking up.
If I could bring back, okay, what's a movie I want a sequel to? The Town. I would love another Town. Like, of them, even a prequel. If you kept all the original actors, just seeing them commit the heist before this one. Not even heist, but whatever. personally, and that's a personal thing for me, just because I enjoyed the town.
I'd have to. I would never want a prequel because the actors are too old at this point,
That's true.
and I wouldn't want them to recast.
Oh, yeah, I want because Jeremy Renner
won't be the same. Won't be the same. So like that's why I wouldn't want a prequel now. Now maybe like a year or two after, sure.
Yeah.
You know, but I definitely get where you're coming from. And like when I say that, I'm like, it's not a matter of like it shouldn't exist. It's a matter of like, can I see that? Can I see what would a sequel to that movie look like? And like I don't, I'm trying to picture it and play in my head. Anyway, I'd rather talk about the fake
any other movie
Town 2 than Atlas.
Yeah.
So what do you think my rating for this is?
Probably 1 star, if that. I'll say 1.
Well, yours was a 2, and this is monumental because I think this is the first time I've ever done this. No stars.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't even know that I was willing to go to no stars until I saw this movie. I have given some really bad movies half a star.
Yes.
This didn't deserve the half the star. I didn't find any, like, even the good actors in this film. And do not dare watch this film and tell me that Mark Strong, Sterling K. Brown, or what's his name? The other one in the film. The other big name actor that was in the film. Simu Liu. Sorry, I want to make sure I say his name right. Those 3 actors who I have seen in other projects do really well.
Yes.
As actors. And in this movie, even Mark Strong, who in my opinion is the best actor in this film and one of the best actors out there, was not good. So I chalk that up to not them. I chalk that up to wooden dialogue, poor story, and terrible direction. So sorry, not sorry. You get 0 stars from me.
That's fair. And you got 2 because I'm coming off a con. So I was already sad about leaving the con and I was already in a good mood because of the con. So honestly, it probably would have been half a star, maybe 1 star, but you got 2 because I was.
Well, you gave them 2, so I feel like that warrants you should rewatch this again.
Yeah. Oh, man, I don't want to rewatch it. I'm going to give it time, but then I'll rewatch it. I promise I will. I'll rewatch it. Damn it.
All right. Let's get to our next one tonight, and that is Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. All right. Here's an interesting one. So this one, all right, I really like the Mad Max movies, but it is not lost on me that like Mad Max 3, aka Beyond Thunderdome, or isn't that great of a movie. Even the first one is like really experimental and exploitative of its time, the Australian exploitation movement, but like really well done for an indie film, but it doesn't hold up to like the Road Warrior or Fury Road. This movie was very boring to me. It's all about Furiosa and how she came into being with the Morton Joe, and you see that goes through this guy called what's his name? Dementis.
Yeah.
He goes by, he thinks himself like a Roman like emperor almost, and he's trying to work his way into that in this whole outback land, and he takes her in, and like he's really creepy and really weird about it. Then he trades her away to a Morton Joe, and like she becomes like, and then you see her like get on the war rig and stuff, and like take that on as a Partidarian or something like that, which is the Roman special guardians and stuff. So all that stuff sounds interesting to a point. This movie does not let it become interesting at any point, and that makes me really, really sad. And I don't know, but I'm going to ruin it for you now. There's a weird Mad Max cameo in it that just like, I'm like, why would you do that? So I don't know. For me, it lacked all the good things that Fury Road had.
Yeah.
It made it too complicated. None of these movies should be too complicated.
No.
And I don't know that I needed a prequel.
No.
So what do you think about this movie?
So I'll talk about the good first, what I did like. So visually, I enjoyed it because I enjoyed the last one, and I feel like this one was super similar. I do like how the scenes are shot. I love Miller, how he does his action scene. I'm not gonna, I would argue he's probably one of the best action guys right now for me personally. So I did enjoy that aspect. Now, as for story and everything, this movie was too damn long. It wasn't that good. I mean, you could see it on Anya's face, even though she's an actress, and I'm not saying she's not a great one because she is, but you could tell she was over filming this midway through, just even in the movie. I feel like she regretted choosing to be in this movie just because I mean, I just don't think they let her shine. To me, Chris Hemsworth shined more than she did, and it's a movie about her. So I think that's kind of confusing to me. Not confusing. I don't know. I didn't like it that much.
But like to that point, just to add to it, because I'm not disagreeing with you. Because now that I think about it, she doesn't even show up until like 40 minutes in.
Right.
And then when she does show up, it like does take like a long time to really get in there. She doesn't even speak her first words until she gets to the point. So like I do really feel like they didn't let her shine enough. And she is too good of an actor to and I think Dune did that with her too.
Yeah.
Stop getting these amazing actors, because she is great. Go watch The Menu and tell me she's not a great actor. You know, and a ton of other movies too, but like she's a great actor who brings something to the table. And she did in this. She was really good in this. So I agree with you. And so was Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth was really well done in this too. But his character, but him as a villain, like you're making Morton and Joe not the hero, but like not the villain. Like we're only supposed to be like, we know he is a villain, but we know that from Fury Road. Now we're only focused on her revenge towards the Mentis. And it's like, what? Like, I understand you're trying to bridge the gap of how she got there.
Yes.
But you're right. Like by the time like she actually has any words or anything really going on, like she's not really shining, and she's not always there. Like you're right. I think this is more given to Chris Hemsworth. So I appreciate you pointing that out.
And I feel like, I'm not saying, because it all comes out, I don't see the script. I don't know how the director, I don't know how any of that went. But Chris Hemsworth, he seemed like, as far as villains go, it was like a Marvel villain. You know what I mean? Like, you're the bad guy, but that's about it. You weren't a bad guy where, you're just like, oh, he's a, POS, like this guy's really bad, or it's like, oh no, he is the villain. Like kind of what you just said. And I don't know. And like I said, just the length of it did not need to be this long at all.
No, this should have been
cut out a lot of things. I didn't need to see her in school quite as long as you had, with her learning how to do the rigs and stuff. I didn't need 30. I think it was about 30 plus minutes of that. I didn't need all that. You could have done a quick 5-10 minutes of that. There's a lot that could have been cut. Because Mad Max is probably one of the first rated R franchises I think my dad started renting for me. So we started with all the originals. So Mad Max has a special spot in my heart because we've seen all of them together. And granted, he's like, it's different now, with the CGI and everything else and how much they can actually do. And to Miller's credit, I've heard a lot of reviews, even from Spielberg, about this one in particular, where they say, I don't know how you got the scene without, doing it all CGI. So I will say visually it's there. It's not the same vibe, coming off of Dune 2 for me. Everyone's gasping. Everyone was on the edge of their seats, invested. This one, people are looking at their phones, they're looking around, talking to each other, it just wasn't, for this being such a big movie to come out on Memorial Day weekend, it whomped. And I don't know. I think it's better to stream. And I think if it's one you leave out of the Mad Max saga, I don't think you're missing that much, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. It just, it was one that I don't know that I'd revisit this one. I'll revisit Fury Road. I've done it. And we're talking about staying power in our podcast this week. And this one doesn't have a whole lot of staying power, but also I think I think you really hurt it by taking away from Mad Max.
Yeah.
And if you were going to tell a Furiosa story, then it should have been Charlize Theron and continuing on, and maybe eventually she connects back up with Mad Max. I don't think I need the prequel. I didn't need the backstory. But our ratings for this, again, mine was lower. You gave it a 2.5, and I gave it a 2. I just wasn't too overly impressed with it.
Yeah. And the half or my rating is reflected, like I said, off of other directors and other reviews I heard of this, such as, like I said, Spielberg was like, I don't know how you shot that. So if Spielberg being as amazing and great as, if he's kind of like, wow, you did something really cool, even if I didn't like it enough, I'm still going to give him the credit that, okay, well, you're a higher caliber in some things. And like I said, visually,
I agree with you. That's solely where my 2 comes from. It's George Miller's direction was great. The visual effects, all that stuff, like the filmmaking in this was fantastic. It just isn't a great story.
No,
and it was too long, and it wasn't and edited weird. Like I feel like we didn't get enough of the war. I was like, if you're gonna have this long movie, give me more of the war. But whatever. Anyway, mixed movie pick for this week comes from 1974, and that's right, it is Blazing Saddles. If you haven't checked
Where the
this
white
one,
women at?
I absolutely love this movie. It is raunchy. It is highly comedic, and has a lot of very offensive jokes for its time, maybe even by today's standards, but they were all done in fun and in jest in such an amazing way. By Mel Brooks. It was written by Mel Brooks and Richard Pryor, and just really a terrific and fun movie. And it is we are going to be talking about it on tomorrow's classic film review from Snobs Film History, so you can go check out more about the movie. But if you haven't seen Blazing Saddles, go watch this film. Paul, tell them how you feel about this movie.
Oh, it's great. I mean, you get Gene Wilder. It's a comedy. I mean, it's Gene Wilder. That should sell it enough. Mel Brooks, if you've seen any of his movies, if you enjoy them, this is one you're absolutely going to enjoy as well. Yes, like you said, it is offensive, and you couldn't make this movie now. But for the time and how I think it's tasteful, it's still tasteful jokes. I do think, they go too far, like it couldn't be made now, but it's not over the top offensive where you're like, I feel uncomfortable or this is bad, because they did it in a way that was absolutely meant to be funny. And it was funny. It wasn't just nonsense or shock value of just saying something completely not okay, just to say it. I think they chose their verbiage and their dialogue very well. And it's hilarious from start to finish. You're giggling every other scene.
Oh yeah, and it turns all that offensiveness on its head. Like, okay, we can, it's stupid to feel this way or think this way, and so like, I absolutely love it. I think it's a genius movie. Go check it out. Go check out our classic film review tomorrow. It comes out. But it's that time. It is that time. We are going to say our goodnights, and we have a pretty late week after the con. Next week we'll probably be back talking about the con again and having some more fun with some more topics. But if you guys like the channel, you like what's going on, not just the podcasts, but all the shows that we put out, all the other events that we got going on, we really appreciate it if you come over and maybe join up on a Patreon, which now serves as our newsletter and our links to everything. So you can go check it out, get more news there, get blog written reviews, other podcasts that are exclusive to there, shows that are exclusive to there. But it all goes back into helping build the channel out and making it as best as I can. We're just having a good time with it. So please join up on the Snob Nation and hang out with us. And until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan.
I'm co-host Paul.
And we will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.